Well, this is Baruch here. I'm at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and believe it or not, we're at Parshas Behar. Now, I like to start off the learning week. I've been busy. I get busy. I still work. So sometimes I just don't have a chance to, to devote myself to this limud like I'd like to. Here we come over here. We're going to learn the Zohar. Using the Matuk B'Davash, we're going to read the Zohar and the Matuk B'Davash at the same time. Try to get into the Zohar a little bit. Zohar said, "Yadav Hashem Moshe Behar Sinai Lamor," and this is the beginning of our parsha. Damber el bnei Yisrael v'martach ki vo tavo al haaretz. When you come into the land, and then the matuk finishes out the pasuk. Asher ani noisem lechem, that I give to you. V'shabbos haaretz, and the land will come to rest. Shabbos l'Hashem, it'll be a Shabbos for Hashem. Now he says the Kedei to Farish pasuk zeh, in order to be able to explain this pasuk. Rebbe Lozer began, and he says like this: hitting the Farish Masha Kosev, he wants to go over to this pasuk. Zos Torah Oila, this is the Torah of the fire offering. Hi Oila al Mukta al Mizbeach, it's the Oila that goes up onto the fire of the altar. Now it's really hard for me, as just a regular person, to really relate to the offerings, but here's what the Zohar has to say. He says, "Hi Krua b'Knesset Yisrael okimna." So this pasuk mikrazeh bi'arna b'al Knesset Yisrael, we explained it, and it refers to Knesset Yisrael in Zohar. The word Knesset Yisrael, which means the congregation of the Jewish people, it is actually another name for Malchus. That's very interesting how that works, but that's what it is. The Hisalkav is Chabracha b'Malka Kadisha b'Zivuk Shalim. It is Shehi, that is Malchus. Ola, he goes, the idea of Malchus is to rise up in Mischaberes b'Melech HaKodesh and makes a union, joins together with the Holy King, b'Yichud Shalim, with a complete and total oneness. Behind the B'chatzas Alayla, and he says this particularly talking about a time of day. It's at the midnight hour, Sha'az Yesh Yichud Yaakov Leah. And these are two aspects. Yaakov is an aspect on the front of Zeir Anpin, and Leah is an aspect on the back of Zeir Anpin. These are the wives of Yaakov's. The wives of Yaakov are Rachel and Leah. That's a little bit complicated to see exactly how this works, but that's what happens at midnight. So he says that this all happens Bifnei Zeir Anpin, on the face, in the front of Zeir Anpin. And they come out to be that they're both the same height. That means they have the possibility of making a complete yichud. Because Orich Kumas Zeir Anpin, they cover the entire, they're outside of Zeir Anpin, but they cover the entire length of Zeir Anpin. Now he says, it goes and it says like, Hiha Ola, this is, now quote this puzzle. This is the fire offering, Al Muktach Mizbeach, on the fire, on the altar, called Halayla, it burns the whole night long, Ad Boker, and he adds in, the Matuk adds in the word until morning comes. He says like this, Tochazi, come and see. Kevin the Olavya, Bo Vare, Kevin Shaniknas Alayla, when morning comes, when night comes, Belel Hachol, and he's talking about during the weekdays. The sirens steaming v'shari hecholos kadoshim, and then the gates of the holy gates of the palace are open. The sirens steaming, the gates of the holy palace are closed. V'shari hecholos kadoshim shall Gan Eden, which refers to Gan Eden, which is the connection of this world to Bina. It closed up, it stopped up, the Nizgarim, and sealed or closed. The Baal Yikanan desire the Sochem, so that no one who was a stranger should be able to come into those gates. Din in Tatan is Iron Ba'alman, and this time of the day, lower dinim, with the dinim begin to awaken in the world. Az dinim atachtonim shel chitzonim, and then the lower dinim of the chitzonim, yesh bechem sharak misordim ba'olam. So at this time, only the lowest dinim. Now I'm not sure what he means by the lowest dinim, but I think he means the most severe dinim are just being aroused at this time. V'azlam v'shatim, and then they go out, and they start flying over the world. And there are those of them that start moving, and they start spreading out through the world. And what are they? These are the klipos, which are called the chitzonim, which are called donkeys, v'chasana and female donkeys, v'kalve and dogs. Chachitzonim and the kroyim chamorim, so the chitzonim, which are called donkeys, v'chasanas of the kalavim, and by those names, shehem isordanim b'techilas alayla, they become aroused at the beginning of night, when night starts to fall. So these klipos, and they have names now, he says, there's the male and the female donkey and the dog. He says, Mefarish Chamre B'cha Ukimna. So when we talk about donkeys, and when you read the Zohar enough, you see there's a lot of times that the tzaddikim, these rabbis, are walking around in their donkey, they're on a donkey or carrying a donkey, which is a chamor. So here we say chamor, let's relate it to the concept of the klipa. Ho Ukimna, this has been explained, that sod klipa is a chamor, kavar bi'arnu shehu sod ruach hatuma. What is the klipa, which is called the donkey? It's the secret of the spirit of Tuma. Now, it could be a wind of Tuma. Let's try that. A wind spirit of Tuma. Hamis Pashet, which spreads b'techilas alayla, starting at the beginning of the night. The Hazig l'bnei Adam, to hurt people. V'aleichem Amar Chazal, the rabbi said like this, nowhere. That at the first watch of the night, let's say we divided the night into 4-hour periods. The night was 12 hours long, so the first 4 would be the mishmar of that time. So the very beginning of the nighttime. That's when the donkey brays. He said, this is the secret of the 10 donkeys, v'eser sonos, and the 10 female donkeys, Shoshalach Yosef l'Aviv, that Joseph sent to his father. And there's a secret over here. L'achnia osam. And why did he send them to Yosef? Now let's understand this. It's hard for me to understand. He says Yosef is the aspect of bris. He said that he took these 10 donkeys, these 10 female donkeys, and he sent them to his father, l'Aviv. And what does a father do with it? This is Yaakov Avinu, is the symbol of emes. L'hachnia osam, to humble them, to bring them down, to get them under control. V'heim sod ayud sphira shalzun, the klipa. This is the secret of the 10 spheros of the Zohar v'Nog of klipa. Now he said v'kalbe. Now that's he says the Matak Medrash is explained and explained very nicely over here what he means. That's the donkeys. Now the dogs and the female donkeys, they don't fly over the world and travel around. The klipos hakalovim, he writes, the v'asonos, they don't really travel outside into the world. They arouse only the seis koach el hamachshefim, to bring the power to the witches and wizards. And listen what he says, ha'osim kishu b'techilas alayla. They do their wizardry, their witchcraft, at the beginning of the nighttime, which is the power of darkness at its beginning. Kagon Bilam v'okmuha. So this is about Bilam, and so like Bilam, for example, and this has been explained. Kagon Bilam shehoya metame atzma, the Bilam for himself. For example, take Bilam for example. He soiled his soul, ba'asono, by living with his donkey. Vayideze asa pa'ulas ha'achshafim, and this allowed him to do his witchcraft. Now this has been talked about maybe over there in Parshas Bolam, I'm not sure. Balak rather. Then called B'nai Al Manayim. Now at this time when this is going on, all of the world are sleeping. And they can taste the taste of death. So this is the beginning of the time. Now, in the time that the Zohar was written, people went to sleep when it got dark because there were no the lights were very, very candlelight. It's just not like we have now. It's a bit different situation. He says, and that taste of death, which takes a place when a person falls asleep, is something that the witch uses. And he says, the outer altar, which is outside, now there are two altars in the base of Mikdash. One is in the inside, in the most sacred place, and the other one is the Mizbeach on the outside. So apparently he's talking about the Mizbeach, the second one, which is much larger, and the one that you would put the Ola, the fire offering. The Mizbeach Achitzon Shebechutz, Shehu Soda Malchus, with the Mizbeach always represents Malchus, Shebani Achazim Echitzainim, and the idea here is that Malchus is always in the lower place and exposed to the Chitzainim. Boyer v'soyef medin hagavura, it blazes and it burns from the din hagavura, kedei lahashpia es koach hadin lachitzainim, in order to pour out the power of din to the outside forces, to the klipos. Now we'll see what that means as we go on. This is Baruch Flash.